It's been more than 60 days since I've opened HubSpot, and I am not going back. Seriously, I have worked in sales and marketing over the last 12 years, and I've used every tool that you can imagine to run my marketing strategy and to run my sales strategy. And the thing that I hated the most was CRMs. And with the invention of AI and AI tools, I realized that something amazing was happening, that no longer did I have to be confined by the tools that forced me to input data and track everything and make sure that the CRM was clean. I could take real context, put it into Claude Code, and Claude Code supported me through an entire journey of working deals and marketing and navigating around difficult topics that I didn't have context around. So today I'm going to build my own CRM from scratch. I don't write code. I just simply describe what I want with AI and it builds it. So let's go. Let's do it. All right. Let's see. A founder, sales leader, build me a CRM where the conversations are no forms, no manual entry. Let's start with the folder structure. Yeah, let's start there. So if you guys don't know, I am basically inside of a terminal and I have synced up Cloud Code. In fact, a coworker of mine sat me down one day and for 45 minutes, he walked me through how to set up my terminal and helped me set up Cloud Code and basic skills to help me start building, it completely, before then I was just using ChatGPT and other AI tools and I was using Claude, but like in the native, like in the web app. But with this, I'm working directly on my local computer and it has completely changed my life and the way that I do work. Um, I have been building reports and I have been making content and it's all frictionless. It's almost like I was telling somebody, it's like, I felt like I was Harry Potter. Like when I first walked into um, Diagon Alley and was introduced to the wizarding world for the first time. That's how I felt using Claude for the first time in my terminal, where it's like, okay, stop. All this is possible to me. So for the first time in history, a non-technical person, a non-engineer, someone that didn't go to school for coding can use these tools to bring the ideas that they've always had in their mind to life just by communicating, just by talking with the AI and through it with the AI. What's funny is you don't have to be perfect. You actually don't even have to be a great writer. You can throw misspelled words and have typos and the AI understands the context. The best advice that I can give when using these tools is not only does it help you build something, like there is no right or wrong answer, it can provide you with insight and almost be a coach as you're going through the process of figuring out how to do this and make this thing up. So as you see, it says, let's check this out. So empty directory, good. Greenfield, I'll lay out a structure that reflects the core thesis. Conversations are the source of truth. Everything else is a derived view. That means raw conversations land in an append-only inbox. An extraction pipeline reads them and produces structured signals. The DB is a materialized view of those signals, not a place you type into. The UI reads timelines, never forms. Let's see. And this is all code stuff, so forgive me, guys. I don't know what any of this means, but I'm learning. So as I've been building, I've been asking Claude to teach me how to code and decipher anything that's outside of like natural language, what it actually means. Structure in place, here's the layout. Okay, the key architect. You can arm and rebuild from the our conversation. That means when improved extraction prompts, your whole history gets smarter, not just new data. Next steps is picking the tech stack for pipeline and web. Say the word and I'll wire up the first ingestion path. I start with email since that's usually the highest volume real signal. Sure, let's do it. Funny thing about Claude Code, like, I don't know if it's just with Claude, but like it gives you like these funny action verbs as it's thinking. So right now it's orchestrating and it says other things like, I don't know. Now I can't think of any off the top of my head. But as you see, as we go through this process, you'll see it says other little funny sayings. Let's see. Still thinking more. It's great. Let me check what runtime you have, the wire up and end-to-end email pipeline, drop in .eml and inbox email, LLM extract signals, materialize into SQ. Still orchestrating. So this one action will use 2.6 thousand tokens. I'm not sure what that translates into dollars. Let me ask, what does 2.6K tokens translate into? Let's see. Let me ask it in another window. Okay. So Claude says it depends on which Claude model plus whether it's input or output tokens. So 2.6 thousand tokens across the current model lineup. So if you're using Opus 4.7, that's about, let's see, oh, less than a fraction of a penny. And the same is true for Sonnet and Haiku, so super cheap. So for a typical Claude Code turn, 2.6 thousand combined tokens with a mix of input plus output on Opus is approximately 10 to 15 cents. A whole coding session with 50 turns like that, $5 to $8. That's why you see prompt caching and Sonnet fallback matter. Cache hits are approximately 10% of the input cost. Switching to Sonnet for routine work is approximately 5 times cheaper. Okay. Still figuring it out. Like I said, I'm a marketer. I am a customer success guy, a sales guy. I've spent the last 12 years, 13 years of my career leading marketing teams, leading business development teams, and really using like a traditional model of setting up marketing and sales, where it would take weeks of ideation and planning just to put together campaigns that we would launch and figure out whether or not it would be dead on arrival, whether we had to optimize. And optimization usually didn't come until after we've run the campaign for a couple of weeks to a month to decide what we could shift. And sometimes the confusion was whether it was in the creative or in the execution, in the audience or in the topic. So, and making sure that we put the right spin behind everything that we were doing. So it was a lot. The amazing thing, just the green field that I see with this is I can do anything I want because it's super cheap now. So I'm taking years of knowledge and experience and just I'm free. I'm free to explore and I'm free to create. But that leads me to why I'm starting this series with the CRM. CRM is the hub for everything that I'm doing. For anybody that doesn't know, a CRM is a customer relationship management tool. And with CRMs, I'm able to store all of the data on my customers and use that information to either put my prospects into marketing campaigns and marketing flows or to pass them over to my sales team. So my current job, I am marketing and sales. And I realized really quickly, I don't have the luxury of staging stuff in HubSpot. Oh, gosh, I spent like the first few weeks getting HubSpot stood up. And, it's funny, my CEO described it as like basically the Rolodex. So HubSpot and Salesforce are like the Rolodex and for anybody that doesn't know what a Rolodex is, it was like the old way that people used to keep customer information and customer data. And you kind of like flip through as actual paper. And tools like HubSpot and Salesforce were built on that principle that you're just keeping a running record of a customer, a deal, and the conversations that you've had with that deal and around that deal. And you use that insight to figure out the next action. I'm turning that completely on top of his head with the ability to record context, record conversations, the API calls where we're able to pull from Gmail and pull from other tools that we use like Otter, Zoom. I envision being able to have the conversations like I know how to, taking those conversations and dropping them into the CRM that I'm building, and it being able to automatically route those conversations to the right deal and provide the next action that I have to take in order to progress that deal either to the sales team or through the sales funnel or continue to nurture them through the marketing funnel. Let's see. Where are we now? It's a lot of marketing. It's a lot of coding stuff happening right here. Let me scroll up, figuring some stuff out. So what it's saying, let's see. It's Claude is basically telling the terminal to write pipeline. So I wrote 12 lines to pipeline. I imagine lines of code. Wrote 45 lines to prompts, extract email. So name, extract. You're an extraction engine for a founder-led sales CRM. You read one raw email and emit structured signals, the atoms of sales activities. This is not summarization. Every signal must correspond to a specific fact in the email. I didn't prompt this, so it's amazing that this tool can, from just a quick prompt that I gave it, be able to come up with this. Let's say emit 0 or more of these. 24 lines to pipeline. Let's see. Okay, it says everything's wired up. Here's what shipped. A CRM from scratch, package JSON, tsconfig.json, git ignore. I don't know how to pronounce that. And environment.example. Let's see. It says the two architectural bets to notice in the code is the unique key on extraction, same email plus same prompt, skipped, same email plus new prompt version, re-extracted. That's how you improve the CRM's understanding over time without losing history. Raw output is stored on every extraction. If the signal shape changes, you can rematerialize from stored raw output without recalling the LLM. Next moves we're doing, pick one and I'll build. Gmail ingester, a script that pulls from Gmail API, transcript pipeline, same shape, but for Otter, Fireflies, Whisper output, timeline view, a real UI. I'm going to change course. I don't know if I want to do the Gmail right now because a lot of my conversations happen directly with customers. So I actually want to, let's see, do transcript first. Let's shift gears and instead focus on the ingestion of transcripts where I where initially I will be able to copy and paste transcripts directly into the CRM for it to. And that's the beautiful thing about working with a tool like this. Like if I have a change of heart or if I want to go a different direction, it remembers all the context. Like I'll be able to go back to working on hooking up the Gmail to be able to pull from the API, the Gmail API. But I think for the purposes of this, I'd like to see it start with being able to copy and paste transcripts and routing, because a lot of the conversations that I have are recorded in Otter or are recorded via Zoom. And I capture a lot of information when I'm talking to customers. So for sales folks out there, like I've already engaged with a prospect. They're already in the pipeline. You already know they're interested. I'm kind of working from this point. Once we get to this point and we've set up the call and we've either have done discovery or are doing discovery, and I've seen it where, I work with sales team and business development teams, and we would have amazing client conversations or prospect conversations. And I go back and check their notes and it would be it would be horrible. It'd be crap. I'm like, what? You have not captured anything meaningful. Yeah, I got it in my head. Like, I got it. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you do. But CRMs for me are the source of truth. I had one of my my boss rather, at one point say to me, if it's not in Salesforce, it doesn't exist. And that was a mantra that we had. And I took that to heart. Because when I started off in tech, I was so green. And when I started, there was so much that I needed to learn that I took everything literally. So when I was told that, I love to write. So I just was avidly writing and updating all of the context inside of CRM with information on clients and information that we would have, conversations we would have at booths, at shows, and sales calls and marketing chats. And I would take all of that information and I would manually put it into the CRM. And I remember one time my boss at the time was like, I have never seen such great notes for a client conversation. So I take a lot of pride in that. But that's always stuck with me. It's like I need the because I need to be able to, I can't recall and remember all of this stuff. It's too much, too many conversations, too many relationships. I need a source of truth where if my CEO or my CMO comes to me and asks, "Hey, what happened with this deal?" I want to be able to recall and pull that up without having to search through Google Docs and without having to think and pull something out of my head or from out of my ass. And use that to be able to show we're making progress on the deal. We have the information that we need. These are the next steps. And for the first time, this process, this way of working has allowed me to do that. I can hop in to Claude in my terminal and I can train it to remember every conversation that I have had on a customer. And if at any time I need to jump in to retrieve that information, I can ask Claude from any terminal. Now, here's the thing. I had set up HubSpot, like I was saying, and I was trying to do that, but it was so much friction. Like I had to wire an API and set up an MCP. And I'm like, God, this is taking forever. I don't have time. I just want to set it and forget it. I want to put the information in. I want it to run and I want it to work. And this allows me to do that. I can have meaningful conversations, put it in here, and it will store it and help me parse through it and strategize. And it's really just great. It's a powerful way to use this technology. Let's see, it's doing stuff. Okay, it said good pivot. Route is the interesting bit. Pasted transcripts don't have clean headers like email, so the LLM has to identify participants and match them against existing people, companies in the database. I'll build a paste-in web UI, one Textera HTMX for the swap that goes to the same abstract materialized pipeline, plus explicit routing logic that tells you what got matched versus what got created new. Okay, and now it's doing some bash PNPM stuff. I'm still learning. I just know that when this says, well, my coworker showed me this, when it says bash and all that stuff, I know it's getting ready to build something. So it's building. Write prompts, extract transcript, wrote 60 lines. Okay, so this is the command it gave. You are an extraction engine for a founder-led sales CRM. You read a call transcript, often 15 to 60 minutes of conversation between a sales rep and one or more prospects, and emit structured signals. This is not summarization. Every signal must correspond to a specific moment or exchange in the transcript. What transcripts look like, speaker labels are inconsistent, any of these are common. I wrote 182 lines, wrote 250. And I think back in the day, which was like a few years ago, engineers would have to write all of this. They would have to have this knowledge in their heads to be able to build this. So it's like the Matrix, seeing in binary and being able to write that binary in and have it produce something beautiful. I can't wrap my head around it. Let's see. Doing some more coding. Let's see. That's 138 lines. Now, a STDIN based CLI pays for terminal workflows. Let's see if it gives any more clues on the direction it's going. Clean type check. Let me boot the web server and confirm the page renders. Bash until curl. Let's see. Wired up end to end. The transcript pipeline is now the primary ingestion path. Two things worth noting about the routing logic. Matching his exact name today. Priya and Priya Ramanthan will be two different people. Fine for MVP. Every paste immediately shows you which names got tagged. New versus existing. So if you see a false new, you can catch it. Fuzzy matching email domain plus first name at same company is the natural next upgrade. The paste function is source agnostic. Same code path handles pasted transcripts, DM threads, or dictated notes. The prompt does the work of separating them. Try live, export Anthropic API key. Before we move forward, can you open in my browser? Yeah, if any time it gives me like commands that I have to run and I don't know, I don't want to put it in wrong and mess up something, I always just ask it to do exactly what I need it to do. Let's see. All right. So this is what it's made so far. Not fancy, not beautiful yet. We'll get there. Like it's in my head, like I see it, but we have to get the fundamentals down first. So I'm gonna ask her, give me an example transcript. Can you test this? Let's see. Okay, cool. So Claude is giving me this transcript. Oh, let's see. This is cool. Optional head. I'm gonna leave this blank for now. Discovery call with Northwind Labs. I don't think that's necessary. I want to see what it does without giving it a nudge. But basically, I've pasted in a mock conversation that lasted about 6 minutes with this customer. I'm gonna hit ingest. It says extraction failed. Cannot resolve authentication method. Expected either API key or auth token to be set, or for one of the X API key or authorization headers to be explicitly omitted. Let's see. I have no idea what this means, so let me ask it. I let's see. Let's see what it says. Let's see. Now it's needing and still thinking. Okay, so the server never got the Anthropic API key. Nothing's loading. Let me fix that so the key gets picked up on server start, then walk you through setting it. All right, pipeline, update. Start web server failed with exit code. Old server stop. Now do this on your side. 2 commands. CP environment env example. Replace stored in one password. Replace stored in one password with your actual Anthropic key. Starts with scan. Save the file, then I'll restart the server for you. It's asking me to do something I'm not prepared to do. Maybe, I want to test functionality without hard wiring. Wiring this. Can I set? Can you create an HTML version that simulates this using Claude as the source of truth? I don't know. Let's see what it thinks about this. So basically, I want to bypass trying to get this set up like for real, and I want to just test out the functionality. And I think what I can do is like once I get it working and once it makes sense, then I'll be able to say, okay, now take me through the steps of wiring this up to actually work. Because I don't want to waste too much time trying to do the technical stuff that I don't really know. In fact, I have a ton of buddies that can help me out and I'll bring to the show so they can help me work through these things. But right now, I just want to bring the vision to life. So people see it and they say, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I can help you take this over the finish line. So let's see what it says. Preambulating. That's what it's doing right now. So that's fun. Haha. It's saying so far, let me zoom in if you can't see. It says, smart move. Let me build a fully static HTML that simulates the paste route flow using extraction output. I've computed for the sample transcript. No server, no API key, just double click and go. I'll persist the routing state in local storage so a second paste correctly shows people companies as existing. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so I wrote 507 lines. Let's load Northwind some. Okay, it's gonna let me reload the sample that I'd already put there. That's cool. I didn't ask it to do it, but it was intuitive enough to know that I would want that. We're gonna click ingest, extracting. So demo mode extraction is pre-computed by Claude for the Northwind sample. Any paste returns the same output. Routing state persists in local storage. So 21 signals extracted. So, oh, sweet. So the people have been routed from that conversation. Let's see, with their titles, companies routed. And this is all like made up stuff. Next steps, sweet. So circle back with Priya after Sanjay's Thursday exec review to close, with due dates. Sweet. And the commitments that were made, send back the completed security questionnaire, them ping Inez and all these names. Ping Inez and legal to unblock the DPA conversation. Us, send the Helix Robotics case study reference to Sanjay. Deliver a one-page proposal, financial metric, adoption curve, security posture. So as you see, like it gives Just a really great breakdown of next steps, who's involved, the commitments that have been made, the interest that were gauged through that conversation, any objections, like it routed from that mock chat, objections around pricing and who's the authority, and state signals. Okay, so this is really cool. I think this is a really great start. Let's see. Deal stage and a cool coaching feature that would help reps nav navigate navigate through closing the deal. But what would you advise as next steps to move this project forward? Like again, this is me using, instead of like having, like I have my ideas, but I can use these tools, Claude, as a thought partner to help challenge the ideas that I have and help route me to the next best path. And there is no next best path. It's like it is whatever it is you want it to be, but you can use Claude to help you think through that and what feels right. What's the right vibe for the next thing that you're doing? Like it's like, how would you describe it? It reminds me of working with an erasable permanent marker, because it all feels really real in like a way that it never has for me before. But in addition to that, because everything is like relatively inexpensive, and we know the implications of using AI tools and what it does to the environment. It is a method for us to use the technology to honestly find a better way to simplify our existing dependency on technology. So we can optimize how we use it, because it's not going anywhere, but we ultimately can use it to help people do their jobs better and invariably save some money and save the planet at the same time. So it says honest recommendation, validate extraction quality with real data before building anything on top. Get a real API key wired, paste 10 actual conversations from your last week, and read what Claude extracts. That's the load bearing question. If the extraction misses things, hallucinates, or produces a schema that doesn't match how you actually think about deals, every downstream feature, stage, coaching UI is built on sand. If extraction holds up, here's the order I'd pick and why. Timeline view first per company. This is where conversations are the data earns its keep. One URL, every signal chronological with the raw code attached. It's not glamorous, but it's the moment where the CRM starts being useful instead of interesting. 2 days of work. Then deal stage, but derived, not entered. Stay honest to the thesis. No drop down. The stage signal type already exists. Materialize a deal stage per company by looking at the most recent stage signal plus heuristics on interest, objection, density. If a rep disagrees with the derived stage, that itself is a signal worth capturing. I manually corrected Northwind from proposal to discovery. That's data about calibration. Coaching is the winner, but needs both above to work. The pattern that differentiate you from every other AI CRM. Not here's a summary, but you said the price. Objection lands with the CFO. When you lead with X, Sanjay's mid-funnel, you haven't done that yet. That requires A, enough real signals across deals, B, some notion of what one deals look like, and C, a coaching prompt that reasons over a company's timeline. Doable in a week once number one and number two exist. The trap to avoid, building UI polish before proving the extraction is good. It's the most fun thing to do and produces nothing you can trust. If you have 60 minutes to spend right now, spend it getting the API key wired and running 5 real transcripts through it. You'll know within an hour whether the whole premise works. Which of those do you want to attack first? If it were me, I'd get the key running today and start on the timeline view tomorrow. I am going to get the key running day and the time view. It's clouding now. It's using itself as a verb. Okay, cool. I think this is a good place to stop. So again, if you guys stick with me, I'm going to take you through this whole process of how I'm building out my CRM for my personal use. Again, you guys know the thesis. I just want to take existing conversations and route them accordingly, period. and then hopefully along the way, it'll coach me through the next steps of the process on the marketing side and the sales side. So, like I said, follow me. Uh, Podcast is Code Shift. I'm Vern Trimble, and I'll see you guys again next time. Peace.